have a un, un I had a lot of interruptions today, so it was not quite unproductive, but I didn't have time to like stream anything, and also, these are 3-hour streams, and maybe that's not the most effective use of everyone's time. So I thought I'd try something different today and just do a little rundown of what I did. First of all, I made a few cleanups on the site so that it looks a little bit nicer. And so you can see it here. First of all, I've done the rename. So it's now tanco.tangentcode.com. If you go to github.com, tangentstorm rogo, it now redirects you to tangent code tanco. You can see my little logo there, and I made some changes. This is all public. So that's the first thing on tangent code. I guess maybe I see some things that you don't see, but anyway, so everything is pretty much the same except when you get to, it still says rogo here, but when you get to my data, this is still kind of fake, but when you get to LearnTris, I cleaned this up. I just did some style sheet stuff. So now apparently there's a details and summary tag in HTML that just comes right with the browser now, so in HTML5. And this was something I did yesterday to like test the WebSocket. So I did have the WebSocket working. Yesterday I found that I was getting a bunch of timeouts with Firefox, and I'm not really sure what happened there. As far as I can tell, like everything is configured correctly, and when I like moved to a new Firefox tab, like everything was working. So I spent a little time just trying to debug that, and never really got anything. But it seems to work a whole lot better in Firefox. This is I moved the previously invisible WebSocket div up here, so it's that's actually CSS. CSS, you can say something like, how do you say it? The WebSocket, we have the border, but then you give it a width of 10 pixels and a height of 10 pixels, and then a border radius of 10 pixels, and that makes a circle. That's kind of cute. So you could do that, and then you can change the background color. It's supposed to be green right now, and I haven't quite, there's like a slight bug there, but basically once the data comes in, then the content, whatever you send to that, there's a temporary place where you can send content, and it will trigger this to refresh, and that causes it to turn green. And then if you if I were to go in and destroy the server, or reboot the server, it would turn red there. And it says what it is and so on. So that was easy. That was just a matter of not login, but in the attempt itself, I had previously had a script like this, and basically it was listening to the WebSocket, so I just changed it to use these HTMX events. Listen to those rather than listen to the WebSocket itself. HTMX actually overwrites the WebSocket. But all it does is just when you listen to the tag. So this div here, you put the tooltip inside, and then you just listen to the div, and it's going to send its content to where it says the HX target, which is test detail, which is down here somewhere. So anything that, basically any chunk of HTML that comes over the WebSocket is just going to wind up there, and that's why what happened. That's why this over here happens. This actually does still work in Firefox, but kind of cute when you can. I'll just do a little demo real quick. It's not that it's important at all, because you're never actually going to do this, but here's the Firefox version, and if you say wherever you hit submit, well, it comes in over there too. And if you put the open this one and you say XXX, well, you hit submit, then they both get updated. And again, this is like the form handler, so it's only responding to the local one. So this one changes here, and this one does not change, and both of these active areas change. And then the whole point of that, of course, is that the changes are going to be driven by the command line interpreter, or the tanco command, right? So we say tanco. I guess we say over here. Oops. Tanco, who am I? Like all that's working. I don't think I've actually published the Python file up to whatever it's called, the package up to the Python package index, but that'll be soon. So hopefully no one will steal my name in the next 2 days or a day or so. But anyway, yeah. So that's I just cleaned up also with some HTML or some CSS so that it's all a little bit nicer looking. These are all the tests that you've passed so far, and then these are the current ones. That's the WebSocket. Oh, so I also noticed that when you try and log in, you actually cannot log in on Firefox. Does not work. And that has to do with the way that the cookies are set. See, that worked just fine in Chrome. It doesn't work on Firefox. So I think I'm just going to drop support for Firefox right now for the initial alpha testing while I work on this. But it has something to do with the there's like a little cookie in here. If you when you run it, you say login with Google, and it all works. But oh, sorry, the console. But it says a partitioned cookie, and so basically the it's loaded by a third-party context, and dynamic state partitioning is enabled. I think is something that Firefox has added to keep cookies, keep Facebook and Reddit and all that from tracking you. Or again, Google, of course. Yeah, so probably this is something that can be fixed if I just change the way that the thing works, and it might be as simple as just setting up a another domain name, another subdomain or something like that. I'm not really sure. I'm not going to worry about it now. I'm just going to switch over to using using Chrome for now until I just get this out the door and get it into people's hands so they can test it. That's that. What else did I do today? Let's see. I guess I could look at the changelog, right? So you can always go to github.com tangent code tanco, and we can see what are the things that I've changed. Some are, I do tend to make really small commits, or not pull requests, but changes. So you can see one thing. If you click on the commits, you can see a thing. So I definitely added a field to the database that is going to be that's going to handle the state. So yesterday I was talking about this, so I've kind of clarified the idea of this state tracking thing. Maybe I'll just narrow it to this so it's easier to see. Basically, we want to track the difference between you're changing stuff, or your all your tests are passed and you're good and you're changing stuff, or you've had a test failure, or you have all your tests pass and now you've added a new test and you expect that test to fail, right? So you have an intentionally failing test because it's new behavior, or you have a regression, or you have all your tests passing and therefore you can go and clean things up. So that's where I'm at. And I just cut my arm off. Is that what? Okay, so that's why I use the circle. But yeah, so anyway, so I decided to do that with a new column, and that column is called focus, and I've added it to the database, but I have not actually used it yet, so that's all still to do. So it's actually in that table. Anything else that I did? Well, we can look at the commits. Clean up headline size. Yeah, so cleaned up that. The Firebase, setup is still called Rogo, so that's only for me, and I do need to be a little bit more careful about how. I don't want my Firebase config in there, and I don't want to force anybody else using this to use Firebase. I suspect if anyone else uses Rogo as a server in the future, they'll use it for local testing of their of a test or whatever, of a course. CSS. I added a run server command. That's just a one file thing. So that's hypercorn. So I did set up hypercorn. It turns out you say pip install hypercorn, and then it knows what to do. It already knows. It's it actually came out of the Quark project, so it was very easy to just set that up, and then added it to my requirements in my project file, and tell it what things to run on, and so now I can run this on the server with one command. Easy, and it's a little bit more it's a industrial strength, ASGI server. So ASGI being the asynchronous thing that runs Python web frameworks. Okay, hello yourself. Is that it? Oh, I just closed my only browser window. That's okay. I closed the. Didn't really mean to close the. Didn't mean to close either of those windows, really. Probably should have said back here. You should just gone here. My data. And then let's see what else did I do. A lot of just tedious renaming stuff. That was easy. Added the socket indicator. And fixed validation sequence and check test. Oh, this had been, I had committed this, or I had changed this yesterday. It turns out a little hard to see where it is in context, but basically this is in check test. So in the app server, it turns out if you did this rows might have been empty, and so they're right above it is these. There are some tests for the. Oh, there we go. Right above it are some tests for, or right below it were some tests for detecting this and giving you a nice error message, and so that's I moved it up. Basically, that was it. With some ugly stuff, the ugly test results. Yeah, so this was yesterday where I had done it. So that's pretty much all I've done today. Like I said, it was a rough day, and some of this was like long and tedious, and like looking at the WebSocket stuff, trying to debug that. But yeah, I still plan to do the current focus, like so the focus, you know, it's a pointer to it, you know, in the database. It's a foreign key that references the test ID. So I just need to add that to the setup when you run your test, so that every time all your tests pass, you lose your focus, so that you can you can redirect your focus somewhere else. Or when a test fails, then the focus goes there. Or when you go to the next thing, then the focus goes to the next test. So yeah, all of that should be pretty easy to handle. I think it's just one or two little things. I just haven't gotten around to it, and it's getting late. And I may do that on this camera tomorrow, or I may just do another one of these like things. I'm pretty close. So yeah, I think I do need to do one pat. Like I said, this name is fake, or actually, this is actually real data. But like, you don't have to log in to see this data. You don't have to log in to see my working through the course. And so I do need to fix the login and set up, like have the server give you a cookie, and then once that happens, it's good enough for people to start testing. And I'm going to start testing by like actually re-going through this and trying to do everything in the UI here. I'm seriously considering, you know, it's annoying to switch back and forth between these, you know, between the, you know, some shell window where you're typing tanco commands all the time, and the browser where you're going to see the data, and the you know, your IDE. You got 3 windows to juggle, and I think I want to just you know, I'm seriously considering the idea of just like putting a button in here, like run everything from here. The button would be the run the test, and another button for the move to the next one after all the tests pass. So you would just be able to run this window and then hide it. And then possibly in the future, you stick it in VS Code or something, and you've got your code on one side, you've got a window open with the test information, and you know, VS Code is running your what am I trying to say? You know, running the test itself on the you know, the test runner, and it just hooks it all up for you. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I may want to do that before I work through the tests. Just depends on how I'm feeling, I guess. But I feel like I'm very, very close. Basically, I need to get login working so that you have a real session, and you get like a cookie that says this is who I am, and we authenticate on every request, and then you show your data. And once I do that, then I think this is it's alpha version. It's, you know, it's ready for alpha testing. It's ready for people to check it out. So with that, I'm gonna stop here. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of this, you know, condensed version, rather, you know, review rather than the live stream, because I know a couple of people actually are, you know, actually watch the whole thing, and a lot of people watch the first 10 seconds and then realize that it's way too long, and I suspect that'll probably happen here too. But you know, you can watch this in 8 minutes if you put it on double speed. So we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know